Welcome to Star Kanan, where we are obsessed with Star Wars Unlimited. I'm Ryan, and I'm joined today by Ray, who is going to be the leader for a deck that will definitely take advantage of the fact that she is more than a scavenger. So here is the deck. I'm calling it Ray's Alliance because it is a Vigilance command or blue and green deck, which brings together some rebels, but also some Jedi, and just a bunch of really fun units that seem to synergize pretty well together and all work well with Ray's leadership. So let's run down this list real quick. Turn 1, we want to open up with our Alliance Dispatcher, which is a rebel, but importantly, he lets us play something from our hand at a discount, which frees up a resource that we can use for Ray's ability. So with the Dispatcher, this behaves a lot like the older green Luke decks, but we are trading Luke for Ray and using experience rather than shields, and we've kind of built the rest of the deck to take advantage of that. Now, why do I like Ray more than Luke? Well, Ray's ability can be used anytime. Luke, you have to use it on a unit that turn that you deploy it, and Luke only works on heroic units, while Ray works on anybody. Now, everybody in our deck ends up being heroic anyway, I think, so it doesn't really matter. But I think that it's just a more flexible way to use any lingering leftover resources in between turns. So anyway, yeah, Ray's great. And then we've got turn 2, we've got Yoda, Admiral Akbar, Sundari Peacekeepers. These all come in with stats that allow Ray to then buff them. They have Restore, they've got Raid in some cases, so they can hit hard, they can keep us alive, they can start our force synergies in the case of Yoda. We've got all sorts of options here that really give us some flexibility depending on what our opponent is trying to do. And then once we hit 4 resources, or even 3 with a Dispatcher, we start to get access to stuff like Kanan and Bright Hope, which can stabilize in space or threaten to deal some damage and restore on the ground. And then we back those up with our removal package, Take Down, Fell the Dragon, so that we have answers for small and big things. But the real piece here is Forces with Me, between Yoda, Kanan, Rey, Obi-Wan, and Luke. We almost always have a Force user in play, and Forces with Me lets us put more experience on and perform an attack and get a shield most of the time, which is a lot of value in one card. Also, we've got Modded Cohort if we need just to ambush in somewhere, and then if she sticks around and lives, we can upgrade her with Rey. Adelphi Patrol Wing lets us fire off an attack if we've got the initiative. It's also just a nice big space unit, and I've been a pretty big fan of this card in particular because it can wrestle with Fett's Fire Spray and stuff like that. And then going into 6 and 7 and 8, we've got Obi-Wan, Luke, a single U-Wing reinforcement just to kind of catch us back up in case we need it, and a few copies of Redemption there to kind of be the final nail in the coffin if we need a big heal, big save, big sentinel to hold off, Star Destroyer or something, and just kind of keep us in the game long enough for our smaller Jedi to get in there and do their thing. So that's the list. I'm real excited to see this one in action today. And in fact, helping me out with that is going to be a friend of mine named Matt, who has offered to play against me on Karabast. So now we kind of get the best of both worlds here. Last episode, I used Force Table and played against the computer. That's not as skill testing, but by having a friend on the other side of the game, you know that they're not going to walk away in the middle of things and leave you with a bunch of wasted footage. So in just a second, we're going to switch over to Karabast and play against Matt, who has agreed to throw some curveballs at me. I don't know what decks he's going to play exactly, but we're going to try and get 3 matches in here and hopefully show off a variety of things so that we can get a sense for how Ray's Alliance would fare against a diverse field. But first, quick reminder, you can find Star Kanan content and a whole bunch of other really cool Star Wars Unlimited content creators over at topdecktcg.com. Not only does this website have incredible strategy content and all that, you can also buy singles here for a whole bunch of games, but the one you're probably most likely interested in is Star Wars Unlimited. So if you use promo code StarKanum, you'll get 10% off everything you buy there, which is pretty cool. I'll have a link down in the description so you can check it out, Top Deck TCG. Again, this isn't really like a sponsorship. They're just kind of rehosting some of my content. You can see they've already got the Farm Boy to Jedi over there if you want to catch up on that. But Going forward, we're hoping to kind of build up that partnership, and in the meantime, if you want to check them out and pick up some singles for even the original Star Wars customizable card game, you can do all that, save 10% with promo code STARCANAN. Okay, with all of that said, we're going to jump over to Karabast and meet up with Matt now so we can play a couple of games with Rey's Alliance. Let's see how we do. Okay, we are lobbied up with my friend Matt, and we've got the option of going first or second. We won the flip, so I think we're going to take the initiative here and go first and get things started. Okay, big decision here. Do we want to mulligan? We've got a couple of restored arcs. We've got R2 that we could put a shield on. It looks like Matt is playing with Qi'ra on Energy Conversion Lab, a pretty well-established control-y type deck. So I think we want to probably use R2 to set up our draws here and kind of filter through our deck a little bit. So I think I like starting with R2, and we don't need to mulligan for that. And in terms of resources, my general strategy is to resource events first and keep as many units as possible. And then once the board is kind of established, then support those units with events. But like Forces With Me does nothing until we've got somebody out. So we can definitely resource that. And then I don't think we need 2 restored arcs, so we'll park one of those. Okay, and then we are going to, like I said, lead off with R2 here, and we find an Alliance Dispatcher. Now this is great if it's in our opening hand. Gets a little less great when it's our second turn card. So I think we're gonna bottom that and try to find like Kanan or Yoda or somebody like that. It looks like Matt just grabbed the initiative. Pretty common opening for Qi'ra. That's fine. It lets us put some experience on R2, and we'll head into the next turn. We picked up Luke's lightsaber and a Delphi patrol wing. Interesting. So I'm kind of afraid of Power of the Dark Side, right? I would love to put this lightsaber on R2 and just go to town, but he'd be able to answer that pretty cleanly with 1 card. So maybe that's a little too risky for this matchup. I do like holding on to the patrol wing here, and Akbar and our own takedown might be useful. So I guess we're going to put away the lightsaber. So I think our turn is going to be mostly attacking with R2 and then playing and maybe buffing the restored arc, because I don't think Qi'ra plays a ton of space. So let's get in with R2 first. We find Bright Hope, which again, I don't think is super useful in this match. So I'll put that on the bottom of the deck. And he's just going to claim the initiative again, so we'll play our restored arc, and then we'll use Rey to throw an experience on that and just kind of diversify some of our threats a bit here. All right, new cards. Gray Squadron Y-Wing, Fell the Dragon. I think we're going to want that for like Vader, Maul, Avenger. This deck can run a pretty big endgame. Less likely to need this takedown. Although this does actually answer Qi'ra the turn she flips, so maybe I want to hold on to that. I don't think I need this Akbar. I think I'd rather play the Y-Wing and upgrade it. So we will put him into resources. I definitely want to keep both of these events and the bigger ship for sure. All right, so he just sends that super laser attack right into R2. He's at 5 resources now. We haven't taken any damage at all, so the restore here a little less useful, but I guess we can just attack with R2, see what's coming up. Redemptions. That's a really good card, but I think that goes on the bottom of the deck. We're looking for, again, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Kanan. Just some nice mid-range units here that'll let us put on some damage. Okay, and Matt has the Client. Interesting, interesting. So we could just take that down or continue to develop our board. And I kind of like spreading ourselves out here so we're not as susceptible to Power of the Dark Side, stuff like that. So I think we can just actually get in with our restored arc. Puts him at 7. Let's see what he's going to do with these last 2 resources he's got. Looks like he's just claiming the initiative. Okay, so that's really good. Anytime that they use super laser attack and they can't like immediately capitalize on that extra resource, that makes you feel all right. I think we can play the Gray Squadron Y-Wing and then use Rey to put some experience on that and then pass. All right, we did find Obi-Wan. We found another lightsaber, which I am now a bit more comfortable using. But I also kind of like all my other cards, so maybe we also just dunk that one. I hate to see it go, but I think keeping our curve nice and steady here is a bit smarter than like going too far in on any one unit. Really, we just gotta watch out for like super laser blast. But if we buff up any one thing too much, then he can just, I'm sure he's got his own fell the dragons or takedowns or vanquish or whatever. Overall, though, I think we're progressing. Okay, so there's power of the dark side. So I guess we do give up R2 here. And then, so we don't have the initiative, so playing Adelphi Patrol Wing, we get the attack, but we don't get the buff with it. And Rey is going to deploy on 6, along with Obi-Wan. So maybe we still do just play this, and then use our free attack with the restored arc, just so we can keep developing our presence up in space. Alright, he used the client to put a bounty on this Y-Wing, so I guess the Y-Wing attacks next. And then he deploys Qi'ra. Okay, and we are out of resources and stuff to do, so I guess we're just claiming here. And then it is going to be, Energy Conversion Lab to ambush in a Black Sun starfighter to kill that Y-Wing to get the bounty off the client. Good move, good move. Okay, so now what do we resource? Takedown here. Probably don't need 2 of those. Also not sure I need this restored arc. Maybe I do want the takedown. But I need threats, right? I'm not going to win this hiding behind removal because we are supposed to be the more aggressive deck. So I guess we're going to put one of these takedowns as a resource. And we do have the initiative, so do we just open with Obi-Wan? I mean, he's pretty good. He blocks everything that Matt's got. I just have to worry about like Vader or Maul coming in before I have deployed Rey, because I really want Obi-Wan to give the experience to Rey. So I think it's worth the risk. If one of these ends up being Maul, then I guess we're caught. But if it's just Vader, he doesn't get through Obi-Wan by himself, right? So let's see. Even if it ends up being something that answers Obi-Wan, we still get to put the experience down. We just don't get the card draw that we would get along with him, which is kind of important in a controlling match. You want to keep up your cards in hand. All right. So he just used the client to put a bounty on the restored arc. So maybe we should just get our attack in with that while we've got it. Qi'ra deck, 4 cards in hand, 7 resources available. Overwhelming barrage. Okay, so Qi'ra gets the buff. She gets to spread 6 damage around. Where does it go, though? You can just throw it all on Obi-Wan. That would hurt. Does 1 to Obi-Wan. Takes out our patrol. Okay, so wipes out all of space, but does leave us with our Sentinel, which is fine. So I guess now we just deploy Rey. If they want to attack, they still have to deal with Obi-Wan, who then buffs up Rey. Okay, so he plays a Pike Sentinel, which makes it a little bit harder for Rey to do her thing. I mean, I guess that's still the move, right? Because now she gets to buff herself, answer that Sentinel, and Matt's just going to claim the initiative. Okay, so we're done there. All right, we pick up Modded Cohort and a Sundari Peacekeeper. Wish we had those a little bit earlier. And we still have a restored arc and some removal. So we also don't have to resource any of these if we don't want to. I mean, we haven't drawn a Luke or Redemption yet. I mean, we've got... Well, we put it on the bottom of the deck with R2. So I don't know. We could play like a 4 and a 2 or 4-2. And then, or next turn, maybe we do want to have 7. But I like all these, so I think we're just gonna wait and not resource anything. All right, so they've got the initiative. Let's see if they have an answer for Obi-Wan or what. Really frustrating that the client has healed them twice now, so that's like a ton of damage undone. Okay, Death Trooper, sure. Puts 2 on Qi'ra. And 2 on Rey. All right. So a couple things we could do here. We could just ambush, get rid of Qi'ra. We could just play takedown, get rid of her. I think I like that. Because there's probably not a lot of other great targets for takedown, but saving a unit with ambush, I mean, now we can use that to take out the client. And the client is going to put a bounty on Rey. Oh, no. So do I attack with Rey while I have her, or attack with Obi-Wan for more damage? If I attack with Rey right now, I don't get to use her on-attack ability. I should play the Restored Arc first. But then I might not get to attack with Rey at all. So it's kind of a pickle. He's got 4 resources left. Rey only has 3 health remaining, so if he's got his own takedown, then yeah, she's about to be KO'd. So do I... Actually, maybe I just use her to hit the client. Why don't we do that? Alright, so she's at 6 out of 7 now. Not as bad as I had feared. Okay, fine. Obi-Wan gets to go to the base then. We get to play our Restored Arc and then pass. Alright, we pick up Yoda. We pick up another takedown, which is not a great way to deal with this Death Trooper. I'd rather just ambush it with modded cohort. So I think we're still, well, if we go up to 7 resources, we could do like a 4-3. So maybe that's better. So I guess we can get rid of takedown. I feel like everything the Qi'ra deck plays at this point is going to be big, like Snoke. So I think that we just hit with Fell the Dragon immediately. All right, Trooper hits Obi-Wan, but he's still alive. So now we'll go Rey, buff up our Restored Arc. We're at full health. Obi-Wan gets in for 4. Restored Arc for 3, and we still have 3 left. So do we want Peacekeepers or Yoda? I think I like Yoda. We don't really need the restore part here so much, but if Yoda gets killed, we at least get a card back out of it, which again is pretty important when you're trying to keep up with a control deck answering everything that you play. Alright, we drew another cohort. I don't think I need 2 of these, so we'll keep Kanan and a cohort and a Peacekeeper. That's looking pretty good. Avenger comes in, so this is a great example of where Yoda is perfect, because now we have to defeat something. We just defeat Yoda, and we get to draw ourselves another card, and it's another Yoda. Alright, so opponent's at 19, so I think we just get in here with maybe Obi-Wan, put them at 23, and then with Rey, and there we go. Rey's Alliance takes down Qi'ra. That's a pretty good start to our gauntlet, but I don't know what surprises Matt has in store for us still. We're trying to do 3 games here just to get an idea of how Rey would fare against a wider field. So I'm going to jump into my next match, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, everything's set up for our second match, and this time Matt is hitting me with Sabine, gonna be a tough one for sure. This is a well-known deck at this point, and it is the exact opposite end of the spectrum. Very aggressive compared to Qi'ra's more kind of control-y late game. This one's gonna try to win before we can deploy like anything, so I don't know, it'll be a real test. Okay, and our opening 6 is double R2's Kanan, which might be one of our better cards in the match, especially with the forces with me right behind him. And a Y-Wing that kind of loses straight up to A-Wings, so that's not really what I want. And then Redemption, we're not going to live long enough to play. So do I keep a hand that just has 2 R2s? I mean, I think I do, right? Because I can play R2, I can put experience on him. We don't want to give up Kanan. So I'm going to say no mulligan and probably regret that very fast. All right, he also has initiative, which is even harder. So yeah, Redemption, I don't think we're living long enough to play. And I probably don't want 2 R2s. Like, this Y-Wing also is not ideal, but... All right, opening with a Battlefield Marine. Love it, love it. We'll play R2. Another Forces with me. I don't think we need 2 of those. So we bottom that. Do we take our Sabine ping here? Sabine hits us each for 1. We get to throw some experience on R2. That's going to let him keep initiative. Okay, all right, so now we draw Bright Hope and Luke. We're going to keep Luke. We're going to keep the Y-Wing. So I guess we're putting down Bright Hope, although that's kind of like our best thing to answer an A-Wing. Yeah. So yeah, I think we're going to have to play this Y-Wing and maybe upgrade it, or upgrade R2 so we can wrestle with this Marine. Maybe that's the better move. Just make the biggest droid possible. Yeah, Marine goes base, but R2 goes to the Marine. Another Kanan. Ugh. Put that on the bottom. Play our Y-Wing and then pass. Okay. Alright, things are moving now. Jeez. We picked up another Luke. I don't think we can keep both of those. Wing Leader buffs up Red 3. Yeah, we should have held on to Bright Hope. Okay. So forces with me. Give 2 experience if you control a force unit. Also give it a shield and attack. So we won't have that. We can just play Kanan. I think I'm going to have this Y-Wing knock out their Wing Leader. And we're going to take like 5 from Red 3 here, I think, unfortunately. It's a big hit. So I think we play Kanan. Oh, hang in there, my Jedi. Forces with us. It's coming. Okay, they pinged with Sabine. R2, go. Lightsaber. Still not good enough. And Sabine's out, so now we just claim. Okay, so we have to endure 1 hit from Sabine. That's fine, that's fine. Ooh, we get Bright Hope. Okay, this is actually coming together pretty good. Peacekeeper also pretty good. I guess we are not gonna get to play this Luke. So he goes down. Okay. Okay, we're not totally dead. We can play forces with me to buff up like Kanan and knock out Sabine. Or use the Y-Wing to kill Red 3? Maybe that's what we do. Because it's 2 experience. If we control a force unit, it also gets a shield. So as long as we control Kanan, and that means this will do a minimum of 3 damage, which knocks out Red 3, which is the biggest thing right now. So I guess we start there. And then they get to do the extra 2 damage. Alright, so we just take out Red 3. That feels fine. Although I suspect we're about to get hit with like Poe or something. Sabine goes for 2. Love it, love it. Okay, in that case, Kanan can go to the base. And we made him, what, discard a Poe, so we healed for 2. Okay, and then he's played Fighters for Freedom. So I kind of like Mystic Reflection on the fighters. And then R2 can like kill it. Well, alright. And now we find our Alliance Dispatcher. So you're going to the bottom. And looks like he claimed, so now we're at 17, but we're playing a 30 health base, so maybe we're not dead yet. I mean, we still gotta dodge Wrecker and another copy of Poe and For a Cause and a whole bunch of stuff, but we're sitting on Peacekeeper, Restored Arc. We get to deploy Rey and hopefully attack and heal. Alright, Fell the Dragon is like one of our best answers for Wrecker and Poe. I guess we can get rid of Bright Hope now that we've got space kind of under control. Yeah, I'd rather play all these restore guys and keep Fell the Dragon available, and hopefully between Kanan and Rey and some restore stuff, maybe we can heal up enough that we don't just straight up die to ECL Wrecker. Ketsu goes to the castle. And so what's this one do? When it deals combat damage to base, you may defeat an upgrade, so just strip an experience off of R2. Rude. So I think next I have to attack with Kanan, but do I go to Sabine and start challenging her? think so. All right, it doesn't kill her, but we do heal. And now R2 can take care of Sabine, which I think I'm okay with. Akbar on top, we'll keep that. More restore and some choice damage. Okay, so we actually, dare I say, are stabilizing. So much stuff still kills us. For a cause, K2, Poe, Wrecker, like, hopefully he's just holding 3 medal ceremonies. No, he's got a Wrecker. Didn't ECL it, though. Just blows up Kanan. Okay, well, I mean, this isn't the worst, because we can fell the dragon to get rid of that. I mean, he did take out one of our guys. They've got no resources left. We play the restored arc. We deploy our leader. We attack with our leader and take out Ketsu and throw the experience on, I guess we put it on Rey, and then attack with the Y-Wing. And now that he can't dump the damage anywhere, he's taken like a bunch to the base. Okay. Cool. Then we pass. All right, 14-18. This is very close. We picked up another Fell the Dragon. That's huge. Also have Akbar, also Peacekeeper. So if I want to play... Ugh. All right, we're at 6, so we can play the 2 units, or we could play just the removal spell and hold the 2 units, or we resource one of the 2 units, so then we can have Fell and one of the units, but not both. So which is better, 2 more units, or 1 unit and 1... Did I just call this a removal spell? I think I did. That's my Magic the Gathering background coming through. I kind of like Akbar here. So, although he's not really going to do a lot of damage. I mean, like, if he plays, yeah, I think we put Akbar down because we just don't have the wide enough board. For a cause, sure. All right, reveals Fleet Lieutenant, Medal Ceremony, Red 3, and K2. We took 4 damage, but now we get to attack with Rey and buff up our restored arc. So that heals us a bit. He's got an R2. Okay. We'll get in with our restored arc and heal. R2 now has heroic resolve. Oh my god. Okay. So we can't fell that. We can get in with the Y-Wing. So he's going to put 2 on R2, go to 23. So now I kind of wish we did keep Akbar. Fell the dragon doesn't help. He's got initiative. So what does heroic resolve do? You can sacrifice it to give R2 +4. So we can attack for 5. That doesn't kill us. I don't think we need to resource any of that. So unless he's got like another Poe or Wrecker or some way to hit really hard, we might be okay here. That'd be amazing if Rey beats Sabine. Then you know you got a deck, right? Like, you can't ask for better than that. He says GG. Does that mean we're dead? Fleet Lieutenant. Okay. So R2 gets to attack for 4. I mean, that kills Rey. No, he just goes to the base, and the Fleet Lieutenant hits Rey, but not enough to kill. So Rey goes to the base. She'll buff up Peacekeeper, and we got there. Okay, we took down Sabine with Rey's dispatch. Feeling pretty good. That's 2 victories in a row. I really appreciate Matt sticking through these games here. Let's see if we can squeeze in one more and see how things go. I mean, I got the shakes. All right, Force is with us. Let's keep it going. Okay, final matchup of the night. We've got a yellow Boba Fett deck. Very cool. So this is going to be kind of like more like a tempo, maybe mid-range kind of a thing. Should be a pretty even match up, for Rey, but we got the initiative choice. We're going first. And here we go. Okay, opening 6. Forces with me. Bright Hope, Akbar, Takedown, a Y-Wing, and another Bright Hope. Not ideal. You know, I prefer to see R2 or the Dispatcher in here so we can, like, ramp or sculpt or something. I mean, at best, we're playing a Y-Wing, and we can't even afford to upgrade it, but it does give us stuff to do. But we're like, resource-wise, we're getting rid of what? Bright Hope and Forces with me, so then we get to do Y-Wing into Akbar. I mean, I guess that's all right. Not the best start our deck is capable of, but it's probably not the worst, and I don't think a mulligan would necessarily be better, so we'll put one Bright Hope and one Forces with me away. Alright, so we will then play our Y-Wing. And Matt's got Greedo to start things off, so I guess we just claim here. We picked up Kanan and Peacekeeper. Both are pretty good. I think I like playing Akbar because he can just ping and get rid of this Greedo right away, so maybe we're not going to have time to play the Peacekeeper. So we'll resource that. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. We'll play Akbar first, so he gets to deal 1 free damage. We knock out Greedo. And he can choose to discard the top card and see if he hits something. Oh, it was another Greedo, so I guess we avoid the damage. Okay, Toro comes next. I guess we just attack with the Y-Wing, see if he wants to spread the damage around or take it all on the base. Takes it all on the base, sure. Alright, and then he grabs initiative, so we pass here. And we pick up another Akbar and the Adelphi Patrol Wing. So I think we're playing Kanan here, or take down on Toro, which probably means we can just resource Akbar and hold on to like turn 4, turn 5 kind of thing. Well, turn 3, turn 4, because resources are not lined up with what turn you're on in this game. All right, Matt, what do you got for us? Okay, he plays Cartel Spacer, doesn't have another cunning unit, so he doesn't get to tap anything. So do we just pour on some more damage with our Y-Wing? I think so. We'll start there. He lets the Spacer tank some of it, plays another Spacer. So now he gets to tap Akbar. Not a huge loss. We just play Kanan here, or play Bright Hope and pick Akbar back up and draw another card and threaten to play him again. So I think that's actually, now that he's in space, I kind of like that. We draw another Sundari Peacekeeper. So now we've got 5 cards in hand to Boba's 2. And we get to claim the initiative here, which feels alright, because going into our next turn, we could just play the Patrol Wing and crash in for a ton of damage. We got Forces with me and a Fell the Dragon, both. I mean, Fell the Dragon is great for Fett's Fire Spray, but I don't know what else this deck has got that's much bigger than that. But this Peacekeeper is like also okay, but I'd rather just play Kanan, and it's not like we can play 2 things with it, and we've got Akbar. So I think Peacekeeper gets resourced, just so we can keep some options open. And we gotta be careful though, this is Boba's flip turn. And we have initiative, so I kind of like... So if we play Akbar, we get to deal 2 damage up in space. We can actually kill one of these spacers. Or we can just make use of having the initiative and play Patrol Wing, which gives us a free attack with +2, so that would let us get in with like the Y-Wing for a pretty good hit. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to play Patrol Wing, attack with the Y-Wing, and go to the base with it. So Matt probably doesn't want to put the damage on either of his ships, because then they can't... Oh, he does. Okay, so now he could attack with both of these, and they both now die to Bright Hope, so we're going to get a lot of value out of that, unless he's got a way to just deal with Bright Hope. Or Cunning. Okay, yeah, that's a card. And yeah, if he like bounces Bright Hope and buffs somebody, we're in a lot of trouble here. We went from feeling pretty good to feeling pretty bad on the back of 1 card. Oh, okay, yeah, he buffs Toro. Oh my gosh. And if he's got like another Greedo or something cheap to play, that will let him ready that, because it keeps the cunning bonus all turn. This is gonna be rough. I guess we just claim now. can also deploy Boba here. Yeah, so these little spacers get in for 4. Really worried about Toro. That's 7. We're at 14. Boba comes out. 4 more. Gets to ready some resources. Oh my gosh. New adventure. Picks Toro up, replays him. Okay. No. We're winding that one back. We meant to play a Lurking TIE Phantom. Okay. Alright, well, yeesh. So going into 6 here, I mean, I kind of want Obi-Wan on the ground. And then Rey. So I guess that means we're getting rid of, like, modded cohort. I don't know how we're going to survive in space without Bright Hope. Although I guess Patrol Wing could just kill any one of these. Okay, so first things first, stabilize on the ground behind Obi-Wan Kenobi. And pray he doesn't have another cutting. Goes in with the Phantom for 4, sure. I guess now we just kill one of these spacers before it can hit us hard. Other spacer goes to the base. Yep, we will deploy Rey. New adventure picks up and replays the spacer, which lets him tap down our Y-Wing. Okay. So we got to attack with Rey, if for nothing else, just the restore. I think we'll just hit the base, and do I buff this Y-Wing? I guess that's where I want it. Okay. 7th Fleet Defender, so we will claim. And so now he still has to get through Obi-Wan. We have a Bright Hope and an Akbar. So I think we put down R2 as a resource. So now we've got 7, so we can Bright Hope. We can also just send this Y-Wing straight into the Phantom to get rid of that. We can't use Akbar to deal with the Phantom. I don't really want to take 4 damage from it. So I guess we just kill that first with this Y-Wing. This is getting so mathy. Alright, Phantom down. If I had to guess, this 7th Fleet Defender's coming for us next. Nope, the Spacer. Okay. Well, in that case, I think I just play Bright Hope. I mean, I would like to pick something up with it, but I want to also stabilize against all of this stuff happening here. We're not going to bounce anybody. So he still has all of his resources and 2 cards in hand. Sends the Defender into the Bright Hope. Fine. So do we just kill it now with, like, this Patrol Wing? Do we get Restore off of Rey while we can? I think that's probably better. And we'll throw some extra experience on Bright Hope for whatever good that does us. Alright, another, oh god, another 7th Fleet Defender. Okay, so this is where Akbar becomes pretty clutch. We play him, we get to deal 3 damage to something up in space. We can just kill one of these defenders. Cloud Rider comes in, ambush into Obi-Wan, doesn't really help, okay, and then we can use this Patrol Wing to knock out the other spacer. So, ooh, he takes initiative, really doesn't want to attack into Obi-Wan. That's interesting, that gives us a free attack with him, and then we pass. 2015, we're pretty solid in space, although again, a single cunning or a Cantina Bouncer, like there are so many cards his deck can play that change all of the math, which, I don't love it. I don't love it. Okay, and it's going to be Gamorrean Guards to start. Sure, that is a little bit of a roadblock for us. We could also just take it down. So we're at 8, which means we could do Takedown, Forces with Me, Kanan, Fel. Like, we have so many combinations of stuff we can do. So why don't we start there? Why don't we just take down these guards? Because that lets Rey attack, which is Restore, and a buff on Akbar probably, which is more Restore. Like, we're not in terrible shape at 20 out of 30, but like, I like to be as healthy as possible. I don't know about you. Okay, Toro finally attacks into Obi-Wan, which lets us put experience on Rey, and we draw a card with that. So now Rey goes to the base and throws experience on Akbar. 1917. Boba hits the base. Sure. All right, so do we forces with me, like on Akbar? That does like a bunch more damage. Or do we just go in space? I don't know. I kind of like forces with me. Akbar attacks base for 4. We heal. Okay. 23. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we have this one here now, because if we go patrol wing to the base and then Bright Hope for the clean 30, we did it. We held off all challengers. Big shout out to Matt. Thank you so much for sitting through those games there and playing with me here and giving me a chance to show off everything Rey's Alliance is capable of. I'll put the deck back up on screen here for final thoughts. Here we go. All right, so Rey's Alliance, where did we end up? Well, I think we had a pretty good game against everything, right? We were able to beat Sabine and Qi'ra and Boba Fett, which is kind of the 3 corners of the meta pyramid, or whatever you want to say. It wasn't great, maybe against all of them. Maybe we got a little lucky, or things kind of shaped out in our favor. But between all of the restore, we were able to just heal fast enough that we could keep ourselves alive to answer Sabine. With the card advantage stuff, like Yoda or Bright Hope picking somebody up and then drawing an extra card, or Obi-Wan dying and passing experience onto somebody, and if they had the Force, then we get to draw a card. Lots of ways to kind of keep pace with like a control deck that's just trying to 1-for-1 answer everything that we're doing. So I think that worked out pretty good across the board, and I'm excited to keep kind of working on this one. So I especially like Alliance Dispatcher starting out. Like that just kind of can kickstart you into a higher gear, right? Like Dispatcher on 1, and then you give them experience, and then your next play is Kanan, or, you know, a modded cohort ambushing and killing their battlefield marine, and you still have an attacker left. That's a really good start, you know, against the right type of deck. So I love play lines like that, where you can kind of jump ahead, but it's not like you're taking the whole turn off to resupply or something, because in a pinch, this guy can still attack, or, you know, the Force can be with him if you get really desperate. It's still a body, so I kind of like that. Cards I'm maybe less sold on. U-Wing Reinforcement, I just put 1 in here just kind of as a safety net. Probably could take that out and make it into something else. I'm not really sure what yet. The 2 copies of Luke's lightsaber. Also, the times that we had it, it was a little too risky for me to put that on somebody. And you could instead use the Jedi lightsaber. I mean, if you prefer that for some reason, you do have enough Force users that maybe you could get some value out of it, but it does cost 3 rather than 2. And I would rather play like the Luke's lightsaber on R2 rather than try to fit in the 3-cost Jedi lightsaber. But that's a matter of preference. You know, you can kind of season this one to taste. I do like Akbar coming in and doing some free damage. The Peacekeepers are great with Rey because you can upgrade them a couple of times, and they start with a nice high 5 health, which is really hard for the opponent to get through. So this deck can do a lot of fun things. It can do a lot of things pretty well, but again, not super great. It's not the most aggressive. It's not the most controlling. It's just kind of one of those solid mid-range decks that gives you options, and as long as you resource smartly and keep the right cards in hand and kind of know what your plan is going to be, whether it is hit hard and fast with a lightsaber-equipped R2, or if it's heal yourself and delay until you can hide behind Obi-Wan and Luke, you just kind of have to read the matchup and play accordingly. But that's the beauty of this game. You know, there's so many cool things you can do with the different decks and cards and strategies. And now I would love to hear what you think. Is Rey's Alliance any good? Do you have any changes you would recommend? Stuff to take out, stuff to put in? Let me know down in the comments. While you're there, make sure you check out my link for Top Deck TCG. Save yourself 10% when you order singles with them using promo code STARCANUM. And then make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the unlimited action you'll only find here on Starcanum. We'll see ya.